Which of those four is it when you talked to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
Behind all of this is Puffy. You've said this yourself with $1 million, whether it was $1 million, whether it was $500,000. Tell us a little bit about that.
On August 13th, the Tupac trial had a major update revealing new details of Suge Knight and Diddy's involvement. Suge would be called to testify in trial for the passing of his supposed best friend, but instead rejected it, reading, "Suge Knight reportedly refuses to be involved in the Tupac trial, which began this week with jury selection." The former Roe CEO, who was driving the car that Tupac was in when he was targeted in a drive-by near the Las Vegas Strip in 1996, is adamant about not testifying in the trial of former street team leader Keefe D, saying, quote, "This trial has nothing to do with me, and if somebody brings me there, it's gonna hurt whoever brings me there. I promise you that." Making it sound like Tupac's passing goes really deep in street ties in the music industry, it would be later revealed that was the case, and let me explain. The news wrote, "The Tupac Shakur trial is scheduled to begin this month, with the judge reportedly ruling yesterday that an old interview that suspect Keefe D gave to the police is admissible at trial, being Keefe D's interview of his reaction of Tupac passing."
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog, you know. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. Hate that happen. Promise to God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. It never happened, dude.
He's the man who's currently arrested for Tupac's passing, but he told the police everything was Diddy's wish and that the passing of Tupac goes very deep with many people involved. It will all be exposed during trial.
Charged in one of the most notorious cold cases in modern American history, and this morning, the man known as Keefe D is breaking his silence from behind bars.
Nearly 30 years ago, became one of the nation's most notorious unsolved.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here.
Then in 2023, a breakthrough when prosecutors charged this man with ordering the hit, the only person arrested for Shakur's, who now tells ABC News authorities have the wrong man.
I'm innocent.
This resulted in a reaction from 50 Cent, who would expose exactly who's responsible.
I hate when they leave me to talk because I always say the wrong thing. I was like, last time they left me, I said something about Puffy. You saw that? Yeah! I gotta stop doing that. I've been talking to a therapist to try to help me with the I'm saying. I said crazy for no reason. Oh wait, maybe I said it about Puffy because he got Tupac killed.
As investigators found evidence against Diddy and his involvement, but it's important to know the role of Suge Knight first. When Tupac passed, his label contract was about to end. People believe Suge didn't want him to leave the label because he took a lot of Tupac's money. Tupac's own father admitted he messed up when it was reported. Tupac's biological father says if he would have been a better father, Tupac would still be alive today because he would have never trusted Suge Knight. Suge stole all of his money.
Well, Suge Knight, right. I feel so bad. I gotta live the rest of my life realizing that maybe if I was a better father, he might not have gotten that situation. He might have had enough wisdom to know that this motherfucker nothing but a scoundrel. But he looked up to him like a father. Then to find out a year, 8 months later, that he cheated him out of all of his money, that's the final betrayal.
But because of his passing, Tupac was never able to finish his record deal, meaning that Suge Knight and his record label made a lot more money off Tupac's music than they should have because Tupac was unable to finish the last 2 songs that he had in his contract. As Suge Knight's name is mentioned a lot in the new files, and his story on the Tupac passing has been strange the entire time. Even Wack 100 thought it was weird that Suge gave Tupac no security on the night they were targeted.
First of all, you seen what happened. Suge understands who he's dealing with. Or what that just happened with, right?
Yeah.
I would have off the top shut my artist down. And if I would have shut him down, I would have moved him in a way to where could nobody get to him. Sure, you know what you doing, don't do. Like, it ain't no security on it.
But this was only the beginning because Diddy is also believed to have a huge role in the passing of Tupac. Court documents read, Diddy faces questions about his alleged role in Tupac's passing after being mentioned 77 times in a new legal filing, as new evidence suggests that Diddy got jealous over Tupac's relationship with a woman known as Sarah Chapman. On November 18th, 1995, Tupac was photographed with Diddy's baby mama, Sarah Chapman. Diddy described Sarah as his dream girl, so when she got with Tupac, he didn't like it. This actually resulted in the the first attempt at getting Tupac, as Tupac was suddenly targeted at a recording studio in New York, but for some reason the police never fully investigated who was behind it.
I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I could say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bug. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work.
50 Cent spoke further on how they will prove Diddy was involved with it. Reading, 50 Cent says it's not over. More unreleased Diddy footage that didn't make the Netflix documentary is coming to YouTube, including footage about how Diddy started a family with Tupac's ex-girlfriend. Diddy has a daughter named Chance Combs with Sarah Chapman from 2006. Who famously dated Tupac in 1995, as it speaks to how Diddy really wanted to be Tupac.
Tupac was a shining example of everything that Diddy wanted to be, and he was that naturally. He was charismatic, he was sought after, desired, he was very well liked and a naturally likable person. He was charming, he actually had intrinsic talent, he was a star. He was what Diddy tried to force his way into becoming. Diddy, through force, through manipulation, through fear-mongering, tried to become loved and adored and liked. But all he could manage is like a twisted clone of that he was able to garner through fear. But back to my original point, he thought he triumphed over Tupac by when actually what he did was make Tupac immortal. And by Diddy continuing to live and earn more wealth and, in his mind, earn more adoration, he thought he triumphed. He thought he won overall.
With Diddy's first attempt being a failure, he tried again, which resulted in the Las Vegas hit. But it was announced former cop claims Diddy had Tupac dealt with for $1 million. Suge retaliated, having Biggie dealt with. In order to get the crime done, Diddy hired Keefe D as a team leader to organize Tupac's passing. After 20 years of everyone keeping silent on who was behind the hit, Keefe D himself exposed that Diddy met with him multiple times to discuss Tupac's passing.
On all 4 of those occasions, there's San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those 4 is it when you talk to him about Tupac?
It was really about both of them, either one. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah,
But there's one other name that's floated around the case for years that many people blamed, but it was because of Diddy and Suge trying to set him up. But to really get the full details on the case, you have to relive the night of Tupac's passing, because on September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Vegas with Suge Knight to attend a Mike Tyson match. Once the match finished and they were walking out, Tupac got into an altercation with an op in the lobby.
Suge Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and beat him up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Security would separate the 2 after some time, but hours later, after Suge and Tupac had changed their clothes and were preparing to go out partying for the night, is when it all went down. Tupac and Suge got into the BMW to drive to a club when they would get pulled up on in the middle of the street.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
But what's really strange is that the police already had a suspicion Keefe D was behind the crime 30 years ago. On the night of the passing, Keefe D was interrogated, but they never followed up with him.
Lane starts. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then, Tupac's busy getting evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando across Dre?
He leaned over On the window, we rolled down the window.
But what's weird is Keefe D would live in the free world for nearly 30 years after he committed the crime, but suddenly he'd go on an interview and expose that him and his team pulled up on Tupac.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
Got to the light. He was gonna go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
In the same interview, he claimed that they went after Tupac because he began reaching for a firearm before they did the crime.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out a...
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what happened.
started at Tupac and Suge.
It makes sense that Tupac would have pulled out his firearm and not use it because the person who wrote Tupac's biography said that Tupac wasn't as tough as he portrayed and was just playing a role, saying he couldn't defend himself and didn't even know how to use a firearm.
Because he died because all these guys sold him this lifestyle idea, but he wasn't it. He couldn't fight. He had no athleticism. He didn't know how to shoot. He wasn't that guy. But he started to believe it.
He method acted it.
100% method acted it.
But it was then reported that they tried to frame Tupac's passing on someone else. With it reported, Detective Russell Poole suspected that Knight arranged Tupac's passing before he could exit the label, then framed the rival Crips to throw off investigators, as many people believe they tried framing Snoop Dogg for the crime, as Snoop Dogg said it himself that he was supposed to be in the car with Tupac, but suddenly he decided against it.
With Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac, I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So
saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA.
Snoop's very lucky he wasn't in the car, and it's likely because Tupac and Snoop got into an argument just a few days before.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I like their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to, prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
Suge and Diddy did such a good job framing Snoop Dogg. One viral reaction wrote, "Is anyone going to mention how Snoop Dogg could have stopped Tupac from passing? These new files coming out is upsetting knowing Tupac should still be alive," which got a reaction from Faison Love.
I always felt when Pac died, it was because Snoop could have stopped that whole thing. I mean, because like I said, Snoop was a Crip. Pac offended some Crips. Doing some gang, some dumb, really. It was set off a whole chain of events. In LA don't get mad, they get even. So, you want a real Pac story? That's my Pac story. Pac would be alive today if he had stayed allies with Snoop and not cross Snoop.
But it's also important to note that Snoop was tapped into the streets 2 decades ago. People wonder if Snoop could have been tipped off by street members that they were going after Tupac in Las Vegas and it made him not want to be around him. But Snoop even said that Tupac hated him after their argument.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York. And it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave them. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I want to do some music with them. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to kill me. out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with him. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
Although an entirely new part of the case has a lot of mystery around it, because a former officer claimed that Tupac was an industry plant who was set up to end the beef between the red and blue street teams.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, you know, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be a in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Mutulu Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the and the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
Knowing that Tupac was put into his position because of people behind him who wanted him to fix the streets, many wonder if they actually saved him in the hospital on that night and then didn't want to put Tupac back into that lifestyle. It sounds crazy, but if the street life got that intense and too dangerous for their industry plant, it's possible they could have put him somewhere else to lay low. This ties in directly to what Tupac's best friend Tretch said years after his passing, because out of nowhere, he was asked about the last time he saw Tupac when the reporter put his camera to the floor, and Tretch said he saw him in Cuba. But it's important to note that Tupac never traveled to Cuba before his supposed passing.
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
Earl. One last question.
Nobody knows. Y'all good?
Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man.
We good. Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Weeks after the interview, a news report would show up from Cuba, which looked to be him chilling in a parking lot.
Look, zoom in. That's Pop, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back. He's trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
This is what made the Tupac is alive in Cuba theory. Even Suge Knight believes that Tupac was recovering to be better after the Las Vegas incident. As Suge said,
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
But it's said that Tupac was in a deep sleep in the hospital, so them laughing together shouldn't have been possible. But in another interview years apart, Suge claims the exact same story.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital, he was conscious in the ambulance, he was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Only a couple weeks after this interview, Suge was targeted at a club when a man used a firearm in his direction. Suge believed this was retaliation for exposing that Tupac might have been recovering after the hit, and it made Suge stop talking about it altogether. But Suge's son would make a similar mistake. Because of his father's connection to the Tupac case, his son would also begin speaking on Tupac still being alive, as he claimed Tupac was alive and living in Malaysia. He'd later post a text conversation where someone said, "You said too much, time for you to go." This would get his son to begin panicking, and he posted pictures of Tupac with modern celebrities like 50 Cent and Beyonce. Suge Jr. made it seem like someone was after him for leaking information, and he captioned the post, "He never left us. They'll be after me soon." Some people believe it's all a publicity stunt to get social media attention for Suge Jr., but others believe that him and his father might know the most in the world about the situation, considering how close they were to Tupac.